Hello there. Before I go and show you the game I played a few days ago, I would just like to make a short announcement, which I did also in the last video. By the demand of some of my students and followers, I decided to create a Discord server, which is called Adult Chess Improvers, and this was basically made for my students so they can meet each other and interact with each other and maybe play with each other. But it's also open to all of my viewers and supporters. So I will link the channel below, and please join. If you use Discord, you can join and you can meet other adult improvers. You can meet my students. You can meet my supporters, viewers, and all of us who are in the same boat of trying to improve as adults. I think you can share experience. You can schedule games, find a training partner for playing, training, and so on. So I believe that this Discord could be useful if you are an adult improver, so I invite you and encourage you to join my Discord server. Okay, so that being said, let me now go to the game. Just a few days ago I played round 5 in the season 26 of Lichess4545 League. Again, I played as white, and let me show you the game. Before I start, I just want to warn you that since the time zone difference between me and my opponent was really inconvenient, we both had to make some concessions, so it came to pass that I played this game in the middle of the day, and I didn't have focus or concentration as I usually do when I play these kind of long games. So my kids were at home. I had my phone was ringing all the time. I had 100 things going on around me when I was playing, and I couldn't even play on a physical board. I had to play this on the computer. So, well, be prepared that the quality of the game will not be maybe as it is in the average when I play chess. Okay, so let's go to the game. I played e4 as I usually do. My opponent played e6, so he went for a French defense. I played the d4. So I'm just taking the center. Whenever my opponent gives me a center, I just take it. D5, usual French. E5, I usually play advanced French, and I recommend. Well, my recommendation is to play advanced French because this is a really rich opening. It's difficult. It's not easy to play. It has many strategical elements. It has some tactical tricks involved, but I think you will learn about chess by the most by playing advanced French. You can simplify your life just by playing, for example, exchange French, but then you will suck the life out of the position, and you will not have such a learning experience as you will if you play advanced French. So I told this several times, but just to repeat, maybe for newer viewers to hear this as well. Okay, he continued c5, so normal French. c3, this is what I play, so if you challenge my center pawn, I have the another pawn to defend it, so I'm sticking to the principles. Knight to c3, here. Okay, usual move, nothing to say, knight to f3, so he's pressuring this pawn, like usually in French defense, I'm defending this, over defending, and so on. Knight g to e7, a little bit unusual, but okay, it's completely playable, developing the knight. The problem is that this knight now has, I mean, either here or here, this knight has to spend 2 moves to develop because now he's blocking the bishop. But this is just the way the French defense work. Alternative is to defend, to develop maybe here, and then this bishop is free, but okay. French is really cramped, so there is not much you can do to free yourself quickly. Yeah, okay, so in this position I was thinking what to play, and usually I played here bishop to e2, but I was watching some of Grandmaster Jesse Kreis analysis and his opening recommendations, and he says that against French you should play aggressively, because the French players, they like to have this trench warfare. They want to have you know, close position and to fight with lots of maneuvering, remaneuvering, and so on. So the antidote for French players is to play actively. So bishop to d3 is the most aggressive move here. It also involves some tactics. If queen here, for example, then this pawn cannot fall because you have, after some variations, you have the possibility to check here and discover attack on d4. This is typical idea. So this bishop to d3 sometimes leads to sacrificing this pawn on d4. For example, if he blocks this check. But you have plenty of dynamic potential and attacking abilities. He played knight f5 here, and this is also one of the reasons of playing a bishop to d3. And now I took. So yeah, I'm giving up my bishop for his knight. He has now bishop pair, but this doesn't matter because his light square bishop will be the weak piece in the practically in the whole game. I mean, he has fixed center pawns on the light squares, so this piece is weak. So I don't need my light square bishop to counter his light square bishop. And for that reason, in the French defense, it's okay to give up your light square bishop for a knight, not a dark square, but light square bishop is okay to give for a knight, especially when knight is on this annoying f5. So I took, he took. So far, so good. Castles, yeah, just normal development. Bishop e7. Okay, and now there are several possibilities to continue the game according to the book and to the engine and to the theory. One of the possibilities is to play a3. The idea of playing, this is what I play, the idea of playing is a3 is if he decides, let's say I play something else, h3. So if he exchanges here, then he has this square, which can be annoying. So the idea is of a3 is to take away this square, so even after this exchange I got this b4 square covered, since his knight and his bishop are want the b5 square. So this is one of the way to play. a5, okay, bishop e3 developing. So this bishop, yeah, it doesn't have some good squares, so usually it's developed here on e3 or protecting the d4 pawn and waiting for some better times to be activated. b6, he probably wants to activate his bishop here or here. Here is more likely to play bishop a6, and this is a thematic idea which I missed. Like I said, I wasn't fully concentrated on this game, so I missed that. Yeah, this move is coming sooner or later. So bishop to a6 is coming, attacking my rook. I didn't see this. And now I was thinking what to do, and well, my consideration here was this knight. So when you don't know what to do in the position, look at your worst placed piece and ask yourself how to improve it. So I was looking at this knight and I was thinking what to do, how to improve this knight. I mean, if the knight jumps to d2, I don't see some future for this knight. Maybe something like this. Oh, sorry, something like this. Maybe here, then maybe. I don't know, but I didn't see much prospect for this knight in this way. So I was thinking that maybe I could play a4, which I did. So the idea was that I can jump to this nice hole here on b5. So this was my idea, and I thought it would be nice place to have the knight. Other alternatives were to maybe to go a little bit sharp and play c3 and then develop knight on c3, temporarily sacrificing the pawn, or prepare this move somehow, or just to take this pawn, and then I will activate my bishop. So these are the alternatives. Okay, I played a4 with this idea, but what I didn't see is well, whenever you move a pawn, you create a hole, you create a weak spot. So when I played a4, the reason why I play a3 in the first place here was to take away the b4 square. And now when I'm playing a4, I'm just giving away this b4 square. After this exchange, this square is free. And I didn't see this in the game. I was completely blind. So he castled, and now I continued my plane. Knight to a3. And now he decided to take advantage of this b4 square, so c takes d4, c takes d4, and now knight to b4. Okay. Now I realize what I did with a4, and at this moment it became clear to me that a4 was a mistake. Okay, now the threat is, well, he threatens to be annoying. Again, this is a threat which I didn't see, and then this is covered. So I was thinking that this knight was annoying, and I decided to play knight to c2, going for the exchange of the knight, which was a bad decision. Much better move was just rook to c1, and well, continue normal development. If he threatens this, I can defend maybe with knight here or something. So I offered to exchange, and then he played this bishop to a6, which I completely overlooked, attacking my my rook, and also threatening to jump here with knight or with the bishop and be annoying. And well, obviously, if I just try to move my rook away to e1, then this again wins the rook. So at this moment, I started to realize that I cannot avoid losing the exchange. I could try some tricks, and I did. So I played knight to b4, knight takes b4, hoping that maybe he will get greedy and grab my rook, and then I can fork his queen and bishop. He has to move his queen, take bishop with the check. He takes the king, the knight, and then I can take the bishop. And now I'm better. I have two pieces for a rook, and I'm much better in this position. So well, this was my desperate attempt. So I play knight takes b4, hoping for this. But of course he didn't fall for this. Instead he just took the knight with the bishop, and now my rook has nowhere to go. Both of these squares are taken. So what to do next? So in this position I wanted to complicate, I tried to complicate, maybe to give him chance to make a mistake. So I played bishop to d2, with the idea that I can take maybe this bishop with the attack on this rook, and maybe he can make a mistake in this capturing sequence, and I might end up well here. But he just played this correctly, so he took on d2, I took the bishop, he took the rook, and I now took with my king. So endgame is near. I want to centralize my king, and now I'm exchange down. So he managed to win my rook for his bishop. So when you are psychologically, I wasn't very depressed about this. I was aware that I was distracted. I didn't play this. I didn't calculate very well. It just happened. I missed this bishop to a6 move, and this cost me a rook. Okay, but now I need to play this position correctly, and I was thinking about how to continue playing here. I'm probably now playing for a draw. I will be happy with the draw because he has a rook for a knight. But anyway, the strategy is to try to activate my pieces, try to win maybe a pawn or two when I can, because he has some structural weaknesses. Here you can see that he has double pawns. This pawn might be weak, so maybe to exploit some of these weaknesses and to try to play actively. So playing defensively in this kind of position is guaranteed a loss. So if I would just play defensively, he would activate his rooks. The rooks are very strong in the attack, especially when there are two rooks, which can be coordinated, and then I will be crashed. So at this point, I just wanted to play actively. I wanted to move forward and to try to steer some trouble at his camp. So he played h6 here, wanted to stop me for coming forward. I played queen to f4. Now I'm attacking this this pawn, and also you can see that he cannot defend his pawn because I will take this pawn. So I have several threats. He played queen to d7. Now he's defending his weakness. I played knight to h4. Now I'm attacking this this pawn again. And again, he cannot play here because I will just take h4. So now I'm just creating a pressure, and I'm going for his weaknesses and going forward. This is the strategy. He played g5. Now I'm pinning my pieces, but okay, I saw this, so I just took the queen takes f5. So I now have one pawn. I have won a pawn. He exchanged queens. I guess he thought that he was materially better and that the queen exchange is a good thing for him. But in fact, I don't think this is a good decision. He should also play for activity. So maybe queen e6, just trying to activate the rook. And if I take, then he will activate the rook, and he will also support this weak pawn. So, for example. But okay, he took the queen. I took the queen, and now you can see that well, my knight becomes very strong, and his rooks are both passive. So I would say around here the position is equal, even though he has two rooks. First of all, because I have a pawn for the exchange, so I have a pawn and a knight for his rook. So if I would get one more pawn, then it will be materially even, according to the classical tables. And also because my pieces are more active, so I have very active knight, and this rook can very easily be activated. And you can notice here that he cannot play rook to c8 because I will just fork him. So he cannot claim the c file. This is very important. So I will be the one claiming c file very soon, and I have a knight which has very strong outpost in his camp, and also the possibility of check, and also I'm threatening to win the pawn. So I would say we are equal. Maybe even I'm better here. So it's very interesting. I just a few moves ago I lost the exchange, and now a few moves later I'm still exchange down, but maybe even better in the position. He played king to h7, protecting this pawn, and now I played this knight to d6. Now this knight is a monster. It's a very strong knight on d6. It's on the outpost. It cannot be chased away. And I mean, it attacks so many squares that it's just ridiculous how strong this knight is. So and the most important square is c8, because now he cannot claim this line, and I will have more activity for my pieces. King to g6. I'm not sure what was his idea. I guess he wanted to activate his king somehow. I think it would be better for him to start thinking how to activate his rook. So, for example, maybe playing like something like f6, or think about how to activate rooks. I mean, it's not so important to activate king when you have two passive rooks. Okay, rook to c1. Now I have all the activity, and now I'm definitely better. He played h5. Again, I'm not so sure why. What was his plan here? But I know that I now I have some great moves on disposal. So I played the rook to c6, attacking this pawn and also threatening this cover check. He played rook a to b8. Now you can see how passive his rooks are. This rook is blocked by this pawn. This rook is blocked by this pawn. This rook is protecting b6. This rook doesn't do anything. So now I just need to calculate and to find some good tactical resources. And I was thinking how to deliver this discover check, and I found this move which I like. This is knight to e8, and now he has some troubles. So he can go here or here, and as far as I calculated, wherever he goes, it's not very good. If he goes here, I have this check. Then he has to go like here, and I can win this pawn and threatening this. So just for example, if he goes here, check, he doesn't have some good prospects. So if he goes here, I go here, just grab another pawn and come here with check, and very soon mate probably. If he goes here, I can just take the pawn with check. So I have some good prospects if he decides to go here. But he decides, if he decides h7, but he decides f5, so queen to f5, king to f5. And now I'm thinking about mating net. So it looks, well, you can see that all the squares around, so all the squares around king are taken. Many squares are taken around his king. So I was thinking about I was thinking about mating him now. So this move came to mind, and I saw that if I check that he can go here or here, so I played f3. And now this is threat, mating 1 is a threat. So there are a few ways in which he can avoid this mate, and one is to the correct move, the correct defense is to play f6. So now I cannot play king to f6, but I didn't see this defense, neither did he. He played a second move, defensive is g4, so giving his king a square. And now it's actually mate in 5 here. So rook to f6 check. Spoiler alert, I didn't deliver mate in 5, I will speak about this later. So king f6 check, the only available square is knight to g5, and now I have f4 check. And he has king to h4, and now I am bringing my knight. So again, I'm threatening mate in 1, so the threat is just knight to f5 with checkmate. So he has to do something about it. He played the g3, I think this is the only escape. I did play knight to f5 check, and now since he moved his pawn, he has only one available square. Okay, now this is mate in 3. So I encourage you to stop the video now, to pause the video and try to find mate in 3 in this position. Okay, I hope you did pause the video and that you did find the mate in 3. So the thinking process I had in this position was that first of all I noticed that he has this threat king takes f4. So if this pawn is somehow protected, then h3 would just be checkmate. But h3 is not checkmate because this pawn is protected. So I was thinking, how can I protect this pawn by moving this knight? So the correct solution is first you move the knight with a check. He has to go to h4, this is the only available square, and then you take this square off by playing h3. And now he has no squares to move, and this is the checkmate, and he cannot stop this. You see that all the squares are taken around his king. And so in this position, I didn't see mate in 5. I saw it later with the engine. But so I played this, trying to make a mating net. And now at this position I stopped, and I thought to myself that well, there has to be a mate here. It really has to be, because the king has so few squares to go to, that and his both rooks are very passive. His both rooks cannot do anything, so there has to be a mate here. And I was thinking and I was calculating, and I did found this sequence. And I was thinking in my head, okay, knight h6, he has to go here, h3, taking away the g4 square, and then coming back to f5 is a checkmate, and he cannot do anything. So I checked this a few times, and I said, okay, great, I have mate in 3, this is game over. Now I have calculated everything works fine, I don't see any way how can he avoid, so let's just deliver mate in 3. And then I took my mouse and I play h3. So this is how our brain works sometimes. So I played a move which I immediately eliminated as bad, because I saw that he can take f4. So I calculated all the sequence. So the sequence was knight h6, h3, and then knight f5 checkmate. And then I played it the wrong way, and I played the h3. And then immediately I realized what I did, and I was screaming here at my home. And well, I was just so angry at myself that not because I missed mate in 3, but because I didn't miss mate in 3, but I just played the wrong move. So the game continued. He of course took the pawn, and now he's better. Now I lost all my advantage, because now I have nothing. I even lost a pawn. So I continued the game, and I was very frustrated, and I almost resigned here. So I was sorry, I was so angry at myself that I almost resigned, and this is something which is not good for chess, and something on which I have to work on. So not to cry over the spilled milk. So okay, I had the opportunity, I lost the opportunity, the game goes on. I have to objectively assess the position and try to play the position as if nothing happened. I mean, I cannot turn back the time. I cannot take takebacks, or I don't know what. I have to play the game and the position I have in front of myself. But yeah, it's psychologically difficult. So I played king to e2. Okay, now I'm just in the end game activating my king. King to e4. Now he's going for my pawn. I played. Now I took the pawn. So this pawn is free. And also is this one. So knight takes g3 check. He took the pawn. Rook to f5. Now I'm protecting this. I don't want him to harvest all my pawns and to have this passed pawn here. Rook b to e8. Now he's piling up on my pawn, attacking it 2 times. King to d2. I just got away from the pin, and now he took the pawn. Rook takes c5, and I'm still tilted, and I'm still mad at myself. But I notice here a drawing chance, and the drawing chance is that I can deliver check, and if he moves away from his rook, I will just take the rook. So he has to go here. So check. He goes here on e4. I can just go back, and then again he has to go back, and then we can do this 3 times and have a draw by threefold repetition. So my idea was just to demonstrate. So check, check, he has to go back, check, he cannot abandon his rook, check, and so on, and it's a threefold repetition. Okay, so I played this move, rook e2. He played, he indeed played queen to e4. And now, since I was tilted and frustrated and angry at myself, I missed one very strong move. So I will let you find the strong move in this position. I will not tell you the move, but you can write it down in the comments. So think for yourself and try to see if you can see a very strong move in this position, which I missed. And I just routinely, I missed the strong move. I just routinely played king to g3. He went back, king to d4. I repeated, so knight to e2 check. And now he was thinking for a while here. He was thinking if he would like to accept a draw. So if he goes here, I just go here and it will be a draw. Or he wants to give back the exchange and continue the endgame. And he decided to continue the endgame, which makes sense, kind of, because he has this passed pawn. But the problem is that this pawn is hanging. So I think my opponent made a good decision, not only because he might have some advantage in the position, but also because rook endgames are a very important thing to learn. And when you play these online games, you want to make them a learning experience. So it shouldn't consider you so much when you're playing online if you win or lose. It's much more important to have a good learning experience, because all online chess is just a training device. So you need to play many online games and to end up in many different positions, and then to learn from your mistakes and from the positions you have played. So I think accepting draw, if you can avoid it, is not a good idea in the online chess, because well, you want to gain experience. You want to play different positions. So my opponent here decided to take the knight and give back the exchange, and now I took back, and now he's now we are playing the rook endgame, which can be very interesting and a great learning experience. He played h4 here, which I thought that he will maybe play a rook to a8, and then if I move, he might even offer the exchange of rooks, since he is a pawn up, and at the same time protecting the h5. So I was thinking something like this, but he didn't do this. Instead he played h4 here, and I think this was a mistake, because now I just have rook f4 check, and now I'm winning this pawn. So now I'm winning the pawn. He played f5. Again, I'm not sure why didn't he just go behind the pawn and try to push it. Okay, and you can see now again the concept of activity. So which rook is active here? Which rook is more active and which is passive? So his rook is obviously more passive because this rook is defending this pawn. So for example, imagine, you don't have to imagine, I did play rook to f4. Now my rook is attacking and his rook is defending. So I have active rook. I am the one attacking and he's the one defending. And in the rook games, activities, I mean, in whole chess, activities, everything, but especially in the rook games. So passive rook is almost always will lead to losing game, and active rook will almost always give you win if you play correctly. So here I have active rook and he has passive rook. I think the engine evaluates this as equal. He gives 0 evaluation, but this is very tricky on a human level because yeah, this is equal if two engine plays one against another or two very strong grandmasters, then maybe it's equal. But when two humans play, it's very difficult to play with passive rook, and it's very easy to play with active rook. So I would say that here I am much better. And also I have passed pawn. I mean, he has passed pawn as well, but my passed pawn is outside passed pawn, which is a very strong asset, as you'll see in this game as well. Okay, king to d6. So I guess he wants to somehow come here, maybe support these pawns. I'm not sure. Here I play g4 because you can see that this pawn is pinned, so he cannot take. He cannot take my pawn, and maybe I can take his pawn later and then have a free pawn. Or well, anyway, it's active attacking move and it's moving forward. So I'm moving my pawns forward, and I can do this for free. So why not? King to e6. He played again. I was expecting that he will go with check here. I don't know why not. Now I have to decide, do I want to go here and stop and block this pawn, or should I go here and support my pawns? I will probably go here, but yeah. But let's say if I go here, this is the engine line is to go here, and then he can take with the check. Yeah. Okay. I was expecting rook e8 because this activates his rook. I mean, he can always take the pawn later. But he played king to e6, so he missed the chance to activate his rook, and now this is a losing move because I can just play rook takes f5, exchange rooks, rook takes f5, g takes f5, king takes f5, and now you see what I was talking about. I have outside passed pawn, he has central passed pawn, and this one is stronger because now in order to stop this pawn, his king would have to go to the side of the board, and my kings are already in the center. I will just pick up this pawn, and then I will just pick up all of his pawns. So this is now a losing endgame. So this is how it went. King, I just went for the pawn. He has to stop my pawn, so I took, and now I'm just going for his pawns. And now I'm 2 pawns up. Even if I had only one pawn, my king is in. This is winning pawn endgame because my king is in front of the pawn. So the game ended very quickly. Okay, he resigned here. Okay, so this was the game. I mean, it was very interesting game. I know it was not high quality chess for my side because I was distracted. Like I said, I missed some very obvious moves and threats. I lost the exchange, and then I missed mate in 3, and then I missed this very strong move, which I hope you saw, and I hope that you will write it in the comments. But well, eventually I won because all the time my pieces were more active. So even though I was down in material, even though I was I was down exchange, I was down a pawn, I missed some obvious chances and some obvious strong moves from my part. I made some blunders, but the point is that my pieces were more active all the time, and to the end, in the very end game, I had more active rook, and well, the activity of pieces eventually decided the game in my favor. Okay, thank you very much for watching. I hope you find this video useful and instructive. If you do, please click the like button, share the video with your friends. Leave the comment below, and I'll see you very soon with more chess. Cheers.